being stingy is the equivalent of having really bad body odor. Like, it's so icky and gross. And it's the biggest turnoff for me and people I know as well. This is crazy because it has nothing to do with money, and it has nothing to do with how much resources, whether that's knowledge, energy, time, a person has. Because I know people without much money who are incredibly generous and who would literally, if someone was lost on the street and they didn't have food for dinner or whatever, they would invite them to their house. Maybe it's a bit naive, but they would, and they would give them a plate of food. And that's how generous they are, and a place to stay that night. And it's kind of funny how, and I don't just mean this romantically, being stingy romantically, financially, with your energy, with your time, is a turn off anyway. But even with colleagues, in a company, in a business, even with friendships, especially with friendships, as soon as I notice that in a person, I kind of can't unsee it. And again, it doesn't have anything to do with like money necessarily. There are people who are stingy with their network, with their knowledge. There are times when you may want something from your colleague and you've helped them out before with something that they had, a knowledge gap in. And when it comes to you needing help, they're not willing to do that. They're too busy. They don't have time for you. That's being stingy. Or, for example, that person, that colleague or friend who earns 15 times your salary, but yet you're always the one buying them coffee. They've never once offered to buy you a coffee. It seems small, but it really isn't small. Like, being stingy with anything is just the least, first of all, intelligent behavior, because you're not going to get anywhere from doing that. Even super successful, wealthy people are not stingy. A lot of them are generous. A lot of them are stingy, but a lot of them, again, are generous. How is that helpful to anyone? And I think, again, it's like the biggest ick, because it doesn't even need to be romantic. It doesn't need to be that deep for it to be like an ick, because it's like, I'm doing this and you're literally not reciprocating in any kind of way. So yeah, it's just crazy, because that kind of opens your eyes into someone's character, because you don't need to have a lot of money to be generous, but a lot of people just are not naturally generous. And I feel like you could fix body odor a lot easier than you could fix someone being stingy, because being stingy is like decades of programming and learning that maybe they learned. Or maybe that's just who they are to their core. But, with the body odor thing, you could fix it. It's just the biggest ick. And luckily I'm surrounded by really generous people in my friendship, the people I've dated, in my family. So I don't allow this near me, but it's crazy. When you see it, you're like, so shocked, because it's not really in my immediate circle.